live. Let's see how this goes. It says we're live. That's crazy. Technology is
Uh-oh.
crazy.
It's enabling all of this.
It's insanity. That's what it is.
People, they're just not, the internet just isn't ready for our incredible Moonfall discussion
It
without
it
the
it
internet.
really isn't. Really isn't. No emails. Shut up. You're interrupting the flow of everything. You're ruining it. Anyway, hello everyone. What's going on? Just give people time to arrive, I guess.
So we're on YouTube or
That is the
Twitch?
YouTubes. That is the
Oh,
Metals
right.
Forge. Do you need a linkage? I can give you a linkage.
Yeah, go ahead and shoot me one.
1 second. Probably need to do it on my phone because I do have it on the Discords. Because that's not even the archive channel. That's like the proper media channel, if you will. Share. Copy link. This is production value right here. Super prepared. And
You could
boom.
say that
There you go.
this podcast is a horrible disaster, like
Oh,
Moonfall.
that's timely for the movie and what is happening in the world right now. Is,
Nail ad.
is this a surprise moon? Yes, it is. I can't
It's
wait
not a
to.
surprise moon. It's more a moon that does surprise things. A surprise moon would be like, oh, another moon. That's
Oh,
surprising.
where did that one come from? What the hell?
Surprise moon.
That would have been a twist in the movie. It's just a second moon all of a sudden.
I think everything was clearly. Well, I guess we need to talk about the fact that Moonfall is maybe a movie that slipped under everyone's radar.
Yeah,
I know when I had mentioned it, you said you hadn't even heard of it.
I think I might have heard of it, but I like when you mentioned it, I was like, huh. I don't think anyone talked about this. And then I
I don't think
checked, and it's like, oh, it's been out for 2 weeks. That's interesting.
I don't think anybody else we were streaming with heard about it either.
Yeah.
It was just sort of out there. There was a lot of fanfare to it, and the only reason that I went and saw it, I went and saw it with my dad, is because we like these stupid, cheesy B movie disaster sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to go see it with no expectation that it would be good, and it was not. It was
No,
not
no.
good.
I found it thoroughly entertaining, though. That's for sure.
Yes,
It's
it's a Roland Emmerich film through
yep.
and through.
That's exactly what
He
it
is
is.
constantly working on that disaster movie family drama to happen, right? He's constantly kind of refining it and trying new ways to have it just sort of play out on the big screen. And Moonfall is it's his evolution, you know? It's I liked it way I think I liked it better than I don't even know.
Well, we got
The
2012. We got Independence Day. Was that Roland Emmerich? Let me check. Which one did he do? Probably all of
I'm
those.
taking a
I
look
think
now.
about.
He did The Day After Tomorrow.
Uh huh.
He
Let's see.
did.
Independence Day, Godzilla, Day After Tomorrow, 2012.
Oh, he did the new Independence Day too. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's a shame. Uh,
Oh, yeah. He did. He an incredible filmography. He's done a lot of amazing pieces of work.
yeah.
They're all these big disaster movies where generally there's going to be a monster or aliens or some natural disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And while all of this disaster is happening, he has that B plot of some kind of family drama or someone who's related to the hero, generally a wife or a an ex-wife,
Mm-hmm.
and they're bumming around the world as this disaster is happening. While the generally it'll be the husband who, for whatever reason, is either misunderstood or he's just in a low point in his life. He has to, save the world through some ridiculous means.
Yeah,
Um,
now just put in the words moon and aliens, and you've got the plot summary for this movie already down.
what, but what do you mean aliens?
Well, this is the funny part. Uh, I didn't see the trailer for this, so I was surprised that we got not only a moon, but also aliens. Have you seen the
I
trailer at
I
all?
did. It was in theaters, I think, when we saw I think it was when we saw it was like Dune or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. We they played a trailer for Moonfall, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't recall, even with the trailers, I don't remember there being anything about aliens.
Well, I've watched the trailer today actually because it has some good screenshots that I can use. And if you watch the trailer, you already know everything what happens in the movie. They show
Okay,
like
so they do talk about aliens.
they basically show every action or catastrophe scene in that trailer. That's like 2.5 minutes long.
I was disappointed as to how little destruction there was in this movie,
Yes.
considering
Yeah.
it's the moon, like almost crashing into Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you only get like a flood in the first hour,
Yeah,
and it's
that's the
kind of
first half is just
eh,
talking and setting up stuff and blah.
here are your characters. Here's what's happening. Here's
Yeah.
where our main character's at. And they do all of the setups. And so because it's a Roland Emmerich film and there's nothing clever in a Roland Emmerich film, you know all of the payoffs and what they'll be. Um, and you get a flood someplace in some city, and it's fine,
Yeah.
but it's so far away that you never really get there's no real sense of danger, no real sense of scale yet.
Yeah. It
Um,
kind of only
but it,
happens like the destruction only happens when the moon is like super close and like debris is falling onto cities. There's like one or two scenes of that.
yeah, the you have to wait. It's pretty much near the end of the film when you really start to get to the disaster portion of this movie, which is always fun to see.
Yeah.
I think the highlight was pretty much the city, New York, getting hit by moon bits and everything like that. But it was
When you said that, someone chip was like, Rex, is it New York again?
It is New York again. Um, the moon. I guess we should do a basic plot synopsis. I suppose it'll
Yeah,
take us 2
sure,
seconds.
sure.
Yeah,
So it basically starts directly in space because we can't just start immediately when the threat is happening. No, we start like 2 years before that. I think there's like an 18-month gap or something like that.
10. Because I think this happens in 2012
Okay.
or 2011, 2012 is when the opening happens, and then it goes to
Uh,
10 years later, so it's 2022
oh
is
yeah.
current
Oh right,
now.
yeah. There's two because I think it's 18 months later, and that's like the time span of Brian as our main character is doing his I guess his hearings for what happened in space,
Yeah.
and then after that we get
Patrick
the 10
Wilson
year one.
plays our protagonist, Brian Harper,
Yeah.
and he's out in space with his buddies, and they're doing space stuff, working on a satellite or something.
Mm-hmm.
And this is back in like 2011. Oh my goodness. They're out in space, and then there's this weird thing, this alien thing. Oh my goodness gracious. This is not usual. And it
Yeah.
hits the ship and it flings one of the astronauts away. And
Good old
him and
Marquez, I
his
think his name
wife
was.
yeah, and him and his wife, Halle Berry, they somehow were able to get back into the ship, and he lands it without any guidance system or electronics. He's a great pilot.
Yeah, it's
He
awesome.
lands it back down, and then he tells everyone the story about what happened, and no one believes him. They think he's crazy when he says that this weird alien machine blob thingy attacked them. They say, "You're crazy. You're
Yeah,
crazy, Brian."
you're an insane person. You're just negligent and you killed your friends in outer space because you weren't careful.
Yeah, they
This
somehow blamed it on him
yeah.
being negligent, but I'm like, what the hell? What could he have done to rip the hole and to destroy the whole thing? What are you talking about? Well, turns out he gets like demoted
Mm-hmm.
and he becomes a national embarrassment or something like that.
Yeah,
They
public is
call him
turning on
crazy.
him and everything. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're not that good after all. You're just a crazy man.
Yeah, this fuels the divorce with his wife, and he's got a kid, and he didn't get to spend time with the kid because he's dealing with all of the public relation stuff and trying to get back into NASA and clear his name. So,
Mm-hmm.
his wife's leaving him. His kid really wants to spend time with his dad, but he can't because he's too busy. Oh my goodness, this is sad.
Very
Um,
sad.
and then we cut to 10 years later where our story takes place.
Yes.
We sort of start assembling our cast of characters. Here we have um, John Bradley plays this guy Casey,
Casey
and
Houseman. Houseman?
he is
Houseman? Whatever.
a conspiracy theorist. He thinks of all of these, alien civilizations and government cover-ups and mega conspiracies,
Yeah.
and
The
he is able.
moon is a mega structure and like all these
Yeah,
conspiracy
he thinks the
theories
moon is
thingies.
hollow and there's aliens and
Yeah.
there's a big giant conspiracy government cover up. And
Wow.
he
What
detects.
an insane
Yeah,
person. We shouldn't trust
yeah,
him.
he sure is crazy. Sure is a crazy guy. Um, and he detects because he works at like a university or NASA or something like that. I kind of forget.
No,
But he
he
works in.
pretends like he's cleaning up in this university so he can get access to one of the professors.
Oh, I thought he
No,
did
in
actually work
NASA.
there.
Sorry?
I thought he worked as a janitor. I thought he really was a janitor.
No, no, no. He pretended to be one because right after that he
Oh,
goes
okay.
back to his job in the drive-in thingy in the
Because
restaurant.
I thought he had two jobs. I
No,
guess that
because
was.
he did the thing and then he just looked at his watch and was like, "Oh shit, I need to go back to my actual work." And I think
Oh,
later
okay.
on he says he did it like a couple of times so he can get access to some vital information.
Yeah, he gets on a professor scientist's computer and he gets some data for some other people that
Mhm.
he's not supposed to have. And he looks through all of these charts and these numbers and all of the scientific measurements. And he's like, "Oh my goodness, the moon is falling. The moon is
It's
changing its course.
what? That's like the name of the movie. Damn.
Oh my gosh, it is a moonfall, a
Oh,
veritable moonfall." And so he, of course, is very, very perturbed by this.
very much so.
Now, Halle Berry, right? She has divorced from our protagonist,
Mhm.
so we're just gonna call her Halle Berry for all
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I forgot
Um,
her name.
yeah, I forgot everyone's name. And so the only person whose name I remember is Tom, and Tom he's our Roland Emmerich blueprint character who is the new love interest of the wife divorced from the protagonist.
Yep.
So Michael Pena plays Tom,
Yes, exactly.
and bad things, of course, will happen to Tom because this is a Roland Emmerich film.
Yeah,
Tom is
because
not long for this world.
he's not a nice person, you know. He's just rich and only thinks about himself and the money and stuff.
Well, I don't know. He does think about his kids,
I mean,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
just he's not like a jerk any more than the protagonist is a jerk. They don't. This is why I
That's
think
true.
this is an evolution of of Roland Emmerich's sort of movie. He's not. Tom isn't some like antagonistic force that you want to see die, who's just getting in the way, who's being a jerk to everybody. Um, he seems to be a pretty good guy. You just know that he's going to die
Yeah.
because ultimately the Roland Emmerich, he will have our protagonist and Halle Berry get back together, which means Tom needs to be out of the picture. So he runs this big fancy car dealership. Could you tell that this was sponsored?
uh,
Its video
mm,
was sponsored by Lexus.
Lexus and Kaspersky. I don't even know. Kaspersky. I think
I
that's
don't know.
the antivirus. Yeah,
The
Kaspersky Lab. There was
antivirus?
like a huge billboard at some point when they're in the hotel, I think. But I'm pretty sure
Oh
they
yeah,
sponsored the movie as well. So that's just
yeah, there. So I actually went to. I just Googled Lexus Moonfall, and sure
no.
enough, they have the all new 2020 NX,
Yeah.
Lexus, and it's got the Moonfall thing behind him. It's a big
Yeah.
deal. And by the way, this movie was rated PG-13, and I think we'll get back to that in just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But Lexuses, man, and it's not like annoying.
No,
He
no.
works at a Lexus dealership. They drive a Lexus in the car chase that happens later when they're escaping the moon, and
Moon.
it's like, all right, you can clearly tell that Lexus gave them money, but it's not annoying. It's not like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
shoving it. It's like it's appropriate for them to be in a car here. The guy, Tom works at a car dealership that sells Lexuses and nice cars. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all
yeah.
right. I don't mind
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be in the real world, so it's not far fetched that Lexus is a thing in this movie.
Yeah, I'm fine with real brands being used in movies that want to try to seem real.
Yeah.
Um, if it's not, because it doesn't feel like a commercial, you know. Uh, the car does amazing things, but it would have been just any car that was doing that in this ad in the chase later in the movie, and it's not like someone says, "Oh my goodness, oh, there's so much going on. I need a drink." And then someone else says, "You need a drink? Yeah, you look parched. How about a nice, cold, refreshing Pepsi to get you back on your feet, champ?" And
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it's hammed in or squeezed in someplace.
Yeah. Funnily enough, in
So
a
it's
bad movie where
fine.
they did it kind of neatly was in Red Notice, which was horrible. But Ryan Reynolds is in it, and he has his own gin brand, and they had like a bottle of his gin in the movie. So that was kind of fun.
Right? Oh, Ryan. In real life, Ryan Reynolds has a gin brand.
Yeah, aviation. Hang on, aviation gin. Yeah, I had the
Aviation American Gin.
aviation gin. I had those before. It's pretty good gin, by the way. But yeah, they had a bottle of
First,
those lying around. Pretty good. I drank that
um,
with Mutually when I was visiting him the last time, which feels like 11,000 years ago.
it said that he sold his aviation gin brand in 2020
Oh,
for
really?
$610 million.
Damn.
Holy crap!
Jesus.
Wow, that must be
No, I didn't.
damn.
I didn't know he sold it because it's pretty nifty gin. It's not bad, not bad at all.
Yeah, it's like that Dan Aykroyd vodka.
Crystal Skull vodka,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Crystal Skull vodka. I hear it's good, but it seems to be rated pretty well.
Didn't
But
they didn't
geez,
they
600.
drink it on Red Letter Media as well while they were doing a review or something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They did it for their Ghostbusters review, the 2016
Right.
Ghostbusters
Yeah, yeah.
review. They drank that Crystal Skull vodka, which they needed to get through that movie.
Metal's
Let
Fort
me
shilling
see.
for Ryan Reynolds gin. Yeah. Sponsored
This is
by
all
Ryan
alleged, of
Reynolds.
course. All alleged. It's all alleged.
Allegedly.
Um,
Yeah.
But we set up our characters. We get Tom, who's the new husband. We get the kid grown up, who Sonny is the new kid, and he's in trouble with the law for
Yeah.
joyriding.
Also,
We
wait a
have
second. Did you say Halle Berry and Brian are a couple? Because that's not true.
Tom.
No, before, because they have, like, Halle Berry and Brian have different families altogether.
Yeah, they've split since the original.
No, they weren't a couple. I think the Marcus guy and wait, am I mixing this up now? I'm confused now.
See, I thought this goes as a thing. I kind of tuned out for a lot of the family drama stuff. I'm gonna be honest with
I
you.
don't blame you.
I because Brian and Hallie, they said that they were like married at work or something like that, and I
mm,
oh it's what it's
'cause
Patrick is supposed to be married. Was he married to Brenda Lopez?
yeah, because it was definitely a white woman he was married to when they move out of the
Okay,
house. And I think Halle
because it's
Berry has like the military guy as a husband,
yeah, that's it.
Doug
That's it.
something.
I'm so totally wrong. Disregard everything that I've said about the relationship. That's because I forgot about the military guy.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so
I just thought
there's
about
so
this as
many
well. It's like,
people.
yeah, this because we have like in the end we have like the two family children kind of get together and have their little adventure, which is annoying. So I was just like, wait, were they together at some point, or was this different? But yeah.
It is legitimately confusing because there's so many different families. There's
Yeah.
kids, there's people that they meet, there's relationships that sort of split but aren't, and people spend so much time away from each other you forget that, oh, you're with him and you're with that person,
Hmm.
and then you're connected. It legitimately has confused me.
I don't blame you.
um
And it's not the most interesting part of the movie, anyways. So
Oh no, God! It's the movie's written by a 14-year-old, and the way that the dialogue is, everyone says exactly what they're feeling,
hmm.
but it doesn't have any sort of theatrical play-like aspect to it, so it fits as a sort of style. It's just, I am this, and I want to do this, and this is what I will do. And then
Yeah.
someone else will say, but don't you know that this and this, because I feel that such and such? And then the first person will say, I know, but still, it is important to me. And that's just the
Yeah.
movie. That's the writing of the
Also,
movie.
when the two NASA experts are talking to each other, when Halle Berry first figures out what's happening, and like her supervisor or boss or whatever is like, "What am I looking at?" It's like, okay, they really want to tell us what's happening, so please go ahead, tell us everything.
Yeah. Oh no, the moon. It's changing courses. It's doing this.
What does
That's
that
not
mean?
possible.
That's not
We doubled,
possible.
triple checked. We checked the measurements, and it's true. The moon's getting closer. Its orbit is shifting. Oh my goodness. Um, who was the the the, the NASA guy who quits? Is
Uh,
that
you mean the actor?
Luke? I don't know. It doesn't matter. He's in the
I
movie
don't
for
know
five
because I'm bad
minutes.
with actor names. I just
Me
can never
too.
remember.
But basically, remember, we've got so we're setting up all the characters. We
Yeah.
got Patrick and Brenda, and they're kind of having a rough relationship because Patrick can't be around for their son Sonny, and
Hmm.
he's kind of in jail right now because he got caught joyriding. We
On
have
national television, which I found like really funny. It's like,
Yeah, he went joyriding, and sure enough, it was on the news. That's how he finds out about it.
was
It's on the news and it's publicly broadcast. Oh my goodness
how
gracious, Sonny, what are you
embarrassing.
doing?
No.
How awful! This is terrible. This does not help our situation.
Hmm.
Um, you have when you, who is Halle Berry's
Yes.
exchange student friend,
Oh, that's
something
what it
like
was?
that,
Because I couldn't
who
figure
lives in
out
the
during
house.
the movie what she was.
Yeah, random Asian lady. Because this is a 10-cent film, and
Oh
we
no.
get China coming in to really help the day later. But they have, I guess she lives at Halle Berry's house
Yeah.
and is some sort of foreign exchange worker student visa thing, something like that. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
that makes
her
sense.
husband is in the military. He's like top brass, super high up, military man. He is
He's one
up
of
there
the
with all the
he's
generals.
he's one of those guys who sits on this big table and goes like, "Oh, nukes, yeah."
Yeah, he
Basically.
is. He's big military guy.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess I'm trying to think about, because we really don't have to talk much about the plot because it mostly nothing really happens.
No, we just
Um,
jump back and forth between Casey, Halle Berry, and Brian.
Pretty much, yeah. There is a pseudo revelation that the government has been hiding that there are aliens, and that there's aliens like in the moon,
Yeah,
and
and
that
they've
the moon is hollow, and that it's actually a super mega structure.
and apparently they've
And so
known since the first since the last time someone was on the moon, because there was this 2 minute disconnect to the
I think it
Apollo
was the first
thingy,
moon landing. Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh, that was on purpose because they saw something weird." But we told them there's just no communication because of interference or some bullshit.
yeah, they saw aliens and everything on the cameras, so they cut the feeds, pretended that there was 2 minutes of just nothing happening, and then they got all the astronauts to play along, and no one said anything, and the conspiracy and then the cover up, it went on for all these decades.
Hmm.
Um, but So Halle Berry discovers that. She goes into We have one of those scenes where she gets a pass from somebody, and then she
Yeah,
goes
that's
into the
that's funny
government
because that's
archives.
the boss man who we just mentioned.
The NASA boss man, yeah, the
Yeah,
NASA boss
because
man's like, "Oh shit, the moon's falling. I'm
yeah,
gonna quit. Fuck
I
this."
quit. We can't do anything about this. Here, you wanted my job anyways. Take my pass. You can use it for whatever you want. I'm out of here. And that's the last time we see him, I think.
I think that is. We
Yeah.
never got another scene with him, like with his family or running or something like that. He's gone. He's out of the film.
Yeah.
No more him. So we have Halle Berry discovering that there's this big cover up because everyone's noticing that, oh no, the moon is falling. What are we gonna do? Now KC discovers it. We talked before. He's the conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
the young conspiracy theory
He
man.
discovered it
He
before the
finds out.
NASA. What?
That's right, because he's the big smart and he knows all of the calculations.
Mhm.
And he tries to tell Patrick because he finds him at some observatory and he tries to meet up with him. But Patrick just won't listen and nobody will listen. And people think that Casey is crazy.
Yeah.
And we learn that Casey has an elderly mother who kind of has like Alzheimer's or dementia, something
Yeah.
like that. She
Which
doesn't really
just comes
remember
out
things.
of nowhere, kind of. We just want him to be established as a nice guy, I guess.
Well, I don't think it so much comes out of nowhere as much as it goes nowhere.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It happens and you're like, okay, Casey's not like a weirdo. Well, he is.
Yeah.
But he cares about his mom and he tells his mom that, he wants to do da da da. Cause it's another one, Roland Emmerich. He tells his mom exactly what he wants. He wants to be believed. He doesn't want to be laughed at. And his mom's like, oh, you got to go out and make him believe you. Then she forgets who he is. And it's very sad.
Yeah.
But you have all of these characters eventually meeting. We're gonna save you a lot of time because nothing happens.
Yeah, because basically he just goes on Twitter and tells everyone. And while we're with Halle Berry, she's like, "Don't tell anyone." Then all their phones start ringing. It's like, "Oh, that's gonna be a problem."
Yeah.
They've posted on Twitter.com. I think that's exactly what they say. I think.
There is a scene where they're all in the NASA headquarters looking at all of the monitors, and then she says, "Oh, we got to make sure that it's the director guy. He's like, we got to keep this under wraps. We can't tell everybody." And then everybody's phone starts buzzing.
Yeah.
Oh no! Twitter says the moon's gonna fall.
Oh man!
And it's like that's it. That's what everyone's phone notification is for when Twitter wants to say something. So, all right. There's your moment where everyone's phone goes off.
Yeah, and then panic. Whoa!
Yeah, everyone panics. Everyone's like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do?" And there's some riots and stuff. But
yeah,
they don't.
You get like those standard news outlet footage where there's like fire and people getting to the stores and
looting and some riots and stuff like that.
Yeah, trying to stock up on everything.
So all of our characters get together. Patrick and Casey and Halle Berry and everyone pretty much gets together because we have, and then they just and then the military, they want to launch nukes at the moon. They want to nuke the moon because of course they do. Right, the first thing they want to do is nuke the moon.
Actually, no. The first thing they do is send a
mission that's right. Yeah,
to space.
NASA sends a probe
because they found a hole on the moon and it was like, huh, that's weird.
That's right.
What's going on there?
It's so weird trying to recount this movie because it's just it feels so disjointed. There are huge
really did, especially the first part because we just go from here, there, here, there, here, there, here, there. Now Brian and Casey are together in this hotel and figure out this is actually happening, and then the flooding is, and then Halle Berry and her squad gets them from the hotel, but not all the other people in there because fuck them. And then we leave and we're back in the military base, and this is basically where they start talking about what they want to do.
There are these long swaths where just nothing really happens, and then like things happen.
Yeah.
Right after it.
So they basically sent a shuttle to space with a probe, and they sent I think an unmanned probe at this point. Yes, unmanned. Put it down in the hole, and it's like, this is 25 kilometers down there already, but it stopped. What is happening?
They see there's a big hole in the moon.
Yeah.
They send a little shuttlecraft up with like 3 people in it, and then they park over the hole and they shoot down a probe into the hole, and it goes down and down and down and down. Oh my goodness! And then it's like 25 kilometers or something crazy, and then the probe. Oh no! It starts going back up. Oh no! It's coming back up.
That's supposed to happen. What the hell?
Well, they get attacked by an alien machine monster.
Yeah, like a swarm kind of thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like nano bots or something like. I don't know. It's
Because
just this big metal goo monster, sort of
yeah,
like these snakes and whatnot, and it comes out of the moon and it destroys the shuttlecraft. And everyone's like, "Oh my goodness,
yeah.
there's aliens. We can't do anything to fight this." And
I
so
wish I had
people
like a
leave their
proper
jobs.
screenshot for this, but obviously it's not on streaming. So I have one from later that should get the idea around. Hang on, where's my image thingy? That's from later in the story, but that doesn't matter. But this is
It doesn't matter.
basically how it looks like from the front. It's like this goopy thingy
It's
alien
like a
that guy.
yeah, it's like this weird snake metal machine.
Yeah.
It can reform, and it's nanobots essentially. Uh, don't It's just a spooky black. It's like yeah, it's just like a spooky black machine goo is
Yeah.
essentially what it is. And
'Cause actually, I
everyone
think I
sees
have a better one.
everyone sees this machine thingy destroy the alien machine, destroy
Yeah,
the
here
shuttle.
to the left, you
Everyone
can
freaks
see
out.
the little turd there on the left. That's it. Also, I'm sorry for the text on it. I had to get the screenshots from trailers, so this was the best one I could get.
To explain it. There's no fucking
There's
explaining it,
no
but
explaining it. So yeah,
we'll
this
get to
was
that later. The big freaking dump of exposition at the end we get.
yeah.
Um, there is so everyone panics because they see this machine destroy the shuttle. Oh no, the NASA guy quits. The military wants to use nukes.
Hmm.
Halle Berry goes on her little discovery scenes and the typical, oh, I'm gonna go around in the archives of the government and I'm gonna pull up the file that has the thing that's hidden. And then she meets Donald Sutherland,
Yeah.
and then he wheelchairs away, and that's that. Um,
I think you
and
see him
everyone's like,
loading a
"Oh no."
gun before this happens.
You
I
do.
think
He's loading a revolver.
yeah, but
And I
you
don't,
don't hear a
I don't
shoot a shot or anything. So I don't know if they're implying he
know.
killed himself after this or something. I don't know.
He's at a desk, in this old desk in his wheelchair,
Hmm.
and he's cleaning a revolver. And he like puts bullets in it or something, or there's bullets next to it. I don't
There's
know.
like a single
But
bullet, if I remember correctly,
I
next to
think
it.
so. But it never comes up. And I don't know why they show him at his desk cleaning a revolver.
I
Because
think
he
the
goes to
implication is that is about to kill himself because the world is ending anyways. I think. I don't know. That's
I
the best
didn't
I
get
could
that. I just
come up with.
For me, I was just lost. I had no idea what to think. But you have he wheelchairs over to Halle Berry as she's looking through the secret government files,
Hmm.
and she's like, "Oh my goodness, is this a cover up about the moon monster?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then
Yeah.
he goes away for
Yeah.
the rest of the movie,
Yeah, because
and he
we
serves
also
no
see
function.
because she looks through the footage of Brian's mission where the things happened, and oh, you can actually see the thing arriving. So they knew all along. They were
That's right. Brian
blackmailing.
is
Wait, not
Brian's
blackmailing
innocent.
him. He's innocent.
Well,
Yeah,
they're blaming him. They're
blaming him. Yeah,
scapegoating him.
yeah.
It wasn't actually Brian's fault at the beginning that
Hmm.
the mission went really bad and the satellite repair got all destroyed. It
Hmm.
wasn't his fault, and they have the proof. And now she knows it because she got knocked out during that mission,
Right.
and
Yeah.
she woke up on Earth, and Patrick had landed the shuttlecraft. And oh my goodness, they're safe now, and she never knew what happened because like the drama between him and her, between Patrick and Halle Berry, is that Patrick is upset that Halle Berry didn't say that he was innocent when she was knocked out, and she said I was knocked out,
Yeah.
and I wasn't aware of what was happening. So he's really mad at her. So cuz you just have to have drama. Right? None of the characters are like rational when they deal with other people really.
Yeah.
It's just I am angry and I am angry too. But
Yeah.
also I am angry and I understand but I am angry and this is how I feel. And that's the dialogue
Yeah. And
of
then at
this
the end,
movie.
I am not angry anymore. You are the
Yes.
man, Dad. I love you.
Yes, at the end everything gets wrapped up in a neat little bow emotionally,
Of course.
but God,
That's what we
I'm trying
do.
to think of what's actually worthy of sort of discussing as plot aspects cuz so much of it is just nothing.
The old guy in the library. I almost said in the like the storage facility where Halle Berry looks for the thing
That's
mentions
Donald Sutherland. Yeah.
the experimental EMP thingy. I think he says like There was
He
only
does
one chance
mention
to
it,
stop it, and it was the ZX7 is what I wrote down. I don't know if that's right, but it's some experimental EMP
ZX,
thingy. He mentions this, but she's not like, huh, that's weird. Why would they stop this? Because he said they stopped funding it. And I was immediately like, why would you stop funding the
Why
one
would you
thing that could help you defeat this thing that you know exists? That's weird.
It
What is
is
wrong with
it
you?
is strange. We were developing a weapon that we believed could stop the aliens, and then we just stopped funding it.
Wild.
It's like budget cuts or something, so we just stopped funding it.
And then at the end, they still get a thing like this on EMP. So I don't even know what's so special about this ZX7 thingy. But yeah.
When Halle Berry mentions it to her husband, who's the general, he's like, "How did you hear about that?"
Oh yeah,
So
right.
he knows about it.
Yeah.
Like he knows about this thing. Apparently, it's just this really well kept secret that no one ever is gonna use it for anything. So I'm trying to think of if there are any setups that we need to get to, but the NASA people, Halle Berry's in charge of NASA now, by the way. Halle Berry's in charge of NASA,
Yes.
and she says, "Military, don't you launch nukes because we're going to use the EMP thing, and we're going to send someone up to the moon."
Also, please don't use nukes in general because of the nuclear fallout, which will definitely happen.
Yes. So we have we have a need for a shuttlecraft now, and we don't have any shuttlecraft that can go into space. Humanity doesn't have any shuttlecraft. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh. I think this is where where they discover that the alien is attracted to. So okay, this is very complicated. It's a very
I know
weird,
that happens when they're already in space. They figure that out like right before they
I got you.
go into the moon, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So because humanity doesn't have any shuttlecraft, I guess, they have to go to an old museum, and they have to basically take a museum spaceship that has the words "fuck the moon" written on it, in big red letters.
Funny you mentioned that, because I was about to mention that. Wait, didn't I have a screenshot for that? There it is. So in the trailer, it says "screw the moon" and not "fuck the moon."
Oh, I didn't know that.
Me
I
neither.
I can see why. Yeah,
because I was confused. I was like, that didn't say "screw the moon." No.
The use of the F word here, I would like to take a slight tangent on.
Absolutely, go for it.
This movie is PG-13, and as some of you know, in a PG-13 movie, I think you are allowed one F word. Maybe two, but I think you're allowed one F word.
Yeah, one or two.
Now, they get their F word out of the way pretty darn quick in a scene that isn't particularly like tense. You know, like if you were going to make a super disaster movie and they said you could have one character use the F word, then you would really want to save it for something like, have you seen, this is going to be a callback, have you seen Battle LA?
Battle LA? Oh, maybe? That's an old one, though. That's pretty old.
It's sort of old. It's the military has to fight aliens that land on Earth and want to invade, and it's a PG-13 movie.
I don't think I've seen that one. No, I don't think so.
Some of you might have seen Battle LA. It's a fine movie for what it is. It's not good probably, but
I'm gonna put that on my list. That sounds funny.
Yeah, it's military people fighting aliens that land on the planet, and it's PG-13. You get one F word, and so they save it for the very end. Once the humans kind of figure out how the aliens work, and they're about to make their attack against the aliens, and it's going to be the big peak of the whole movie. Right before they do that, they have like the main soldier man say like, "Yeah, let's go. You know, I forget what he says specifically, but it's like, let's go fucking get them," you know, something like that. You know, it's a big deal because that's the F word they get the whole movie, and it's right in this crescendo as they're going off to their final action movie. But here in Moonfall, they just sort of drop it at the beginning as two characters are just sort of talking, and I forget exactly where it was, but I remember hearing it, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's their F-bomb, so they can't use that ever again. And it's in a scene where it's just two characters talking, and I think they're just a little upset at each other or something like that.
Oh, they don't save it. Is it when Tom and Brian are talking over FaceTime?
Ah, it might have been
Like,
because that's how unceremonious it was.
because
And
I distinctly remember them doing FaceTime, which I just found weird because Sonny was just about to be taken to jail, and Brian runs out and starts FaceTiming Tom. It's like, why are you FaceTiming? Just call him. There's like no reason for FaceTime.
for the actor, so we could have the actor.
Yeah,
You
but
see.
they show the actor before the FaceTime starts in his
But this is
Lexus
more
thingy.
actor.
Okay, fine.
You gotta get those Michael Pena shots.
Get all those.
But
All
he has
those.
a lot of. He actually does a lot in this movie later on.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But I thought it was very odd that this movie's PG-13, but there's no blood, no gore. There's no
No,
like it's not a rough movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's
which
actually kind
is
of whimsical and lighthearted.
weird because we could have easily had a scene with blood and guts because when
Easily.
they sent the first probe up before they want to nuke the moon, they get the metal goo tentacles. They
Yeah,
go
the
into the
tentacles.
ship and just go into their visors and
Yeah, they
helmets.
stab them through the face, stab them through the helmets, and
There was like
there's
no
no
blood at
blood,
all.
no gore,
Yeah.
there's no sex, there's nothing that's like titillating. It's a very straightforward disaster movie in that
Yeah.
sense, and it's very clean. And so this F bomb drop, and with fuck the moon written on the shuttle, it feels very out of place. It feels very tonally out of place to have this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just a weird feeling you might not have unless you actually see the movie.
Yeah.
It just felt odd, the tone that they're kind of going for here. So they get this shuttle from the museum that says "fuck the moon" on it,
Yeah.
and they are very proud of that. It's big red letters, and so they
Yeah.
have to essentially fix it up and send it to a NASA launch site. An international group of space explorers and astronauts and NASA, they get together so that they can send up this spaceship into space so that they could set off this EMP and destroy the alien
Yeah.
creature.
Which I really
Very
hope
convinced.
they checked thoroughly before they started sending it to space, because it's been in here for a while.
I guess they did. I guess they cleaned it up a bit and
Yeah.
did stuff. But do they ever have a scene where they know that the EMP will work, or is it just like we're just going to try it? We think it'll work.
The military guys just bring it in, tell them press this button twice, this one once, and then it goes off. That's basically it. They just assume
Right.
it works.
I assume I guess everybody believes that this top secret 40-year-old technology
Yeah.
EMP device will destroy this alien monster. So I guess we'll see if that happens.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to hit all the beats because there's so many. There's like a B plot. It constantly swaps back and forth, back and forth. Because I guess you could say at this point we have Group A is 3 people. It's Patrick, Halle Berry, and Casey.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to the moon. And you might be saying, but why is Casey going to the moon? He's just a guy who works at a burger joint. Well, when the moon gets too close, they have a setback where some of the equipment gets broken.
Yeah, there's an
And-
earthquake happening on the
Yeah.
side of the shuttle, and I think then some water comes in, and the water is later. The earthquake happens.
The
And
waters
then
are ticking time bombs to get up.
Yeah, exactly.
The earthquake
Earthquake
knocks out an engine.
damages the engine somehow. I think the coolant breaks or some bullshit. I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's
So
3
they only,
engines on the back of the shuttle, and
So
it breaks one of the engines. So now they only have 2 of their 3 engines that are working. And
Yeah.
everyone thinks that it's doomed and they can't actually do it. So pretty much everybody gives up and goes home.
Yeah, no, Halle Berry tells him to go home. It's like, yeah, no, we won't do it anymore. We won't even try. Bye. And then
Yeah.
everybody leaves. Except
Everyone
Casey
leaves.
and 2 of the NASA guys, because Casey was like, oh, you did your maths wrong because you didn't account for the new mass of the thing, because this is a megastructure, not the moon. So
And the mass of the megastructure changes, which will affect its gravity, which means that your calculations are wrong for when it will hit the Earth.
Yeah. So I don't know
And
how
so
Casey knows how much mass this megastructure has. I guess he did like many
They-
calculations throughout his years.
They chalk a lot of what he knows up to he has just conspiracy theory information
Yeah, pretty much.
that is it turns out that it isn't so crazy after all, and he's just good with numbers, so that's just sort of what they chalk it up to.
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, so with him being the only person left here who could be on the shuttlecraft, they need him to do calculations as they're flying up to space because he can do calculations in his head because he's really smart,
It's very
and
smart.
they need him, and so that's our three crewmen. And
Yeah.
what their plan is as the moon is overhead, because the moon's getting really close, and they
Yeah.
have some interesting scenes, some neat scenes where when the moon gets too close to Earth, it affects the water and it affects gravity a bit.
Yeah, hang on.
And it's like, okay,
I have a
it's neat,
screenshot for that as well.
Oh,
Let's see here, because that was in the trailer too. Uh, there we go. This is the launch site, and the moon is getting up, and there's like a they call it a
yeah.
gravity wave, I think.
Yeah, a gravity
Uh,
wave or something. Because the moon is getting so close now that it's starting to really affect water. And when it's above you, the gravity is a lot. It's not a lot less gravity, but the gravity is also an upwards force more so because of the
mhm.
moon. So like these two guys here in the shot, they're heading to the helicopter, and so they kind of make these long jumps towards it, which is a nice little. This is like I guess this is a fun little thing,
Mhm, mhm.
and it pulls the waves really high, but and by the way, I called this before it happened. I said to my dad, "This is what they're going to do." Right. So when the moon is overhead, they're going to use the gravitational pull of the moon to lift up the shuttle because it only has 2 out of 3 working engines. Oh my
Smart,
goodness.
smart,
It's very hardcore.
smart roogs.
Very is the big smart.
Make smart.
And everyone in our story is essentially at this NASA facility, this NASA launch facility. The kid, the Chinese chick, the son, Halle Berry's son. They have a son,
Mhm.
by the way.
Right.
They're all here, and
Yeah.
once the
Maybe
launch
to
happens, yeah,
get rid of confusion, Sonny, would you say, why is he here? He was in prison. No, Brian said, "Oh, if I'm gonna do this, you need to get him out of jail." It's like, okay.
yeah,
And apparently they sent this weird military troop to get him out with a helicopter, and then they bring him here, and then they have to like,
yeah. It's Brian. I'm gonna go save the Earth, and I'm amazing, but you got to get my son out of prison because he's in prison for joyriding,
yeah.
and so they do, and they bring him here,
And he's being a prick
and
because he's like, "Why are you doing this? Don't you hate NASA?" And then Brian is like, "Yeah, but the world is ending, so I'm kind of want to help them."
we have yeah I'm just trying to get all my points together because there's so many characters doing so many different things, but ultimately nothing happens. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, so,
It's
so
amazing how complex this movie is for how much nothing happens
yeah,
in swaths of it.
because at this time people are going into bunker facilities, and
Yes, there's a secret bunker.
Halle Berry's husband is in there with the military forces who are
Yeah, all the generals are there, and they have the nuke buttons,
yeah,
and they're going to launch the nukes.
and they're constantly phoning back and forth because, oh, you need to come back to the bunkers. Like, yeah, we'll be there just after the launch. We'll go out there. And obviously Halle Berry has to fly with them because she told everyone to fuck off at some point. So
Yes,
she
everyone
only,
basically left except for Halle Berry, Casey, and Patrick.
yeah,
They are our trio that are going to the moon. And
exactly.
then you have our second group, which is
The overseas student, Asian
Sunny.
lady, Sunny,
Yeah.
and the kid, the
Yes.
Halle Berry's
So
kid.
they're the three. So we have 2 groups of 3 right now. One is going to the moon. The other is in a Humvee, and they're going to drive to the secret bunker, right? Because the general, his son, is in the 3 in the Humvee, and he needs to have them drive to the bunker so that they can get safe just in case anything happens. So we have our launch liftoff, and the shuttle it starts lifting off, and it uses the gravity of the moon, and it just barely is able to get up into the air before the wave hits it. And do these 2 guys die here? The 2 NASA guys, do they die in the helicopter? Is that the same helicopter?
Yeah,
that's
they just
crashing?
I think they barely get away from the side, get into the helicopter, but I think that the helicopter crashes because they get hit by the wave, I think.
That was weird. Why I was curious why they did that. Why they did the whole they're running and they're making the long jumps because of
Yeah,
the moon's gravity, and they get in and because you'd think that the helicopter would be able to lift off easier too, but I
yeah,
don't know. And apparently the helicopter is like, no, we're gonna go this way, and but that's the way that the wave is, and I
yeah.
guess
And
they get
but the
swallowed by
Humvee
the
gets
wave.
away, even though they
But
stop at some point to look at the launch and the wave coming towards them. And then shortly before, it's like,
yes,
oh wait, we should probably drive away.
yeah. So
And then
uh,
there's like a chase, like with the wave, and then we cut back later to them. They just that the wave is gone and they're somewhere. I don't know.
yeah. So we have Sunny, Asian lady, and the general's son
Mm-hmm.
are in the Humvee. They're going to the bunker. We have our main trio who are going up into space to the moon. So up they go. They barely are able to follow the moon's gravity, and they get into space, and they refuel at some refueling satellite or something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. Mm-hmm.
It's like an Elon Musk thing. I don't know. So that they refuel. They say Elon Musk twice. Like, or Casey references him twice in
Yeah,
this. It's
yeah.
weird.
That was yeah.
Um,
It's like okay.
and I guess nothing really much happens yet because these two plots are sort of
Yeah,
separate from one another.
the kids are just
Totally.
driving towards the bunker, which apparently is like hours away, which I
Yeah,
found
it's hours away.
baffling that they didn't just let those drive earlier, but whatever. And the other ones are just making their way to the moon, getting
So
to
we
that.
can do the our terrestrial group first,
Yeah,
and
because
then we can go back to the
that's
moon
the
group.
boring part. Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, because they're totally split. They have no interaction whatsoever at this point.
Yeah, and I
Um,
want to mention they constantly cut between these ones. So we're in space, about to see if there's aliens and shit in there, and if action happens, and then they cut to the fucking terrestrial stuff. It's like, oh no, we're getting chased by bandits or something. It's like, just fuck off. It's boring. There's aliens, and the moon is falling onto the earth. I don't care about you. But yeah, they basically stop each other from progressing this whole time and going back and forth. But yeah, let's go with the kids then first.
so we're in like Colorado or something like that, snowy mountains, the whole
Mm.
deal. Our Humvee and its trio, they're driving down the road on their way to the bunker, and oh oh no. Oh wait, who gives him the gun? Who gives Sonny the gun?
That's
It's
Brian. He gives it to him.
Brian. Brian gives him the gun. Brian gives Sonny a gun and says, "You might need this
Yeah.
to protect yourself," um, which we know is going to pay off in some way.
Yeah.
Even though which is fine. It's you wonder how it's going to get paid off.
Hmm.
So they're driving down the road to the bunker, and they get stopped by bandits. Oh no! And the bandits say, "Get out of the car!
Yeah,
Give us your
they
stuff."
pretend like they're stuck with their own cars. Like, oh, can you give us a ride? And then they get guns out and tell them to get out of their car.
Yes. And now they're carless in the middle of the mountains, and it's snowing, and the moon is gonna fall.
Yeah.
It's just a terrible day. It's
And
a
they
terrible
really
day.
don't care. It's like they're so emotionless about this happening. It's like, oh yeah, that happened. Well, I think we need to go this way, and then they go. It's like, oh,
Yeah, there's like
okay.
let's go this way. Yeah.
Because by now you see like debris falling onto Earth. It's like meteors
Yeah, like
crashing
little
into
moon
mountains,
chunks.
and they just look at it and don't even react. It's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, this is when we start getting like the disaster aspect really ramping up. Is the
Yeah.
launch scene with the big wave, the change in gravity, and as the moon gets really close to the Earth, where it's like in the atmosphere, something silly, and it's almost skimming the Earth.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get all the moon bits
there's some
that
destruction
are
on screen right now. There you go.
yeah, and is in what is probably the only good destruction scene in the entire film. You see all of the meteor chunks hitting New York,
Yeah, there's
and
this one, and then there's one a little later, which has the moon like super close, which looks like this. So everything you see fiery up in the sky, this is all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
moon. It's like
Yeah,
super
that's
duper close.
yeah. The moon is like it's basically scraping against Earth, and it's showering us with meteors and boulders and just moon cannons
Yeah.
and things, and it's just tearing everything up. And but still the film is really like, you don't see anyone screaming or dying.
Yeah.
You don't see any people down below getting destroyed. Billions are dead, and we just don't
Yeah.
really talk about it. It's just it's always just referred to as a bad thing that's happening, but it's never like it's definitely a PG-13 movie where there's no like drama. Well, there's no like peril, no real
Yeah.
peril.
Earth's atmosphere would burn up if the moon entered the atmosphere. Well, we'll get to that because they actually talk about this kinda in some parts with the Earth people, because they can't breathe at some point.
Yeah, so as the moon goes over certain parts of the world, this is what happens. So it's kind of like on and off a little bit.
Yeah.
Where if the moon is going to be overhead, that's when you're going to have a lot of problems, and when it's not overhead, it's sort of like a rest period, sort of. So it lets them have almost like a ticking clock sort of thing.
Yep.
But anyway, they're stranded out in the middle of the snowy mountains, and I think they just happen to walk around for a little bit, and they find
And I think
what happens?
Sonny says like, "Oh, I think I know where to go," and apparently they happen to go where Tom and his mom went. Like they have like a little shed up there in the mountains where they hide out.
Yeah, he has got a house up here.
Yeah,
and so they
apparently
just happen
also
to be...
personal security that somehow still works even though the moon is falling onto Earth, which was interesting.
Oh, so you're talking about like the gate?
Yeah, because they get to a gate and it's like, this is private property. You can't get in here. It's like, okay.
Yeah, they're wandering around in the snow in the mountains, and the moon's about to fall, and they come across this gated community, or this big gate on this road, and there's this angry lady who's got this rifle, and she's like, "You can't come in here. You're trespassing, and I could shoot you if I want to, and I got to protect my stuff, and that's my God-given right." And it's really, really weird, and she shoots at him to scare him away. He's like, "Oh no, but I actually have someone who lives here, and his name is Tom," because they just happen to be next to where Tom lives, I guess. And then Tom comes out in a car, and in a nice, I guess, his nice Lexus. And they drive around for a bit. And is this before or after the moon pulls everybody up and they have to... Like, remember, there's the big open space that they come across, like the big campground area, and there's a lot of people there, and the moon comes up and it pulls everybody up.
I think that's after, because I'm pretty sure they're still alone at this point, those three. And then...
So Tom would have been with them, right? So...
No, they're doing the whole free area or open areas before they get to Tom, I think.
I think so, too. So
I'm pretty sure they're alone at this point, but they get to this refuge camp, I will almost say, because there's a bunch of people there.
Yeah, but before they meet Tom, they're just wandering around, and Sonny's like, "Oh, look, a town. That's where Tom lives." So they go to the town, and when they're in town, there's a bunch of people hanging around, and things are in disrepair, and everyone's worried. And then the moon comes overhead. Oh my goodness, it's very close. And the gravity is so strong that the moon starts to pull everything up. It starts pulling up people and cars and tractors and everything like that. And they have to hold on to like shacks and sheds so that they don't float away.
Yeah.
Do I have a screenshot and so that happens, and that's a disaster thing that happens. And then after that, they go up to the part of town where Tom is.
Yeah.
And then you have a lady, and then Tom comes out and is like, "Yeah, I know these people." And he brings them inside to their house, and then they say they have to go to the bunker. And then they go towards the bunker, and it's... I kind of get lost talking about it.
Yeah. Because you need to remember, in between all these things we're talking about right now, they cut back to space, and then back down, and then we're somewhere else again. And it's like weird. But yeah, I think next thing they figure out that the atmosphere is not there when the moon is about, so they have to
like sucks the air out of the atmosphere for a while.
So I think they go to a fire station, I think is what it was.
Yeah, they go to an old fire station where there's a bunch of oxygen tanks.
Yeah.
So that they can survive the next moon passing. When the moon goes around, they'll be able to breathe. And so they load up all of their oxygen tanks and they get it all ready in carts. And then, oh no, what terrible luck.
The baddies
all the
are
bandits,
back.
The bandits are back. The same ones,
Yeah.
gosh darn it. They're here.
Man.
And they are like, oh, that oxygen's for us. Because I guess the bandits know that they're going to need oxygen.
Yeah, they seem smart, kind of.
Yeah, I guess they do, yeah. So they say, actually, this oxygen belongs to us. Give it to us. Because there's not enough for everyone, I suppose, in a fire state. That's fine. So they steal the oxygen. Oh, no. What are we going to do? Well, it turns out that, remember that gun from earlier that Patrick gave to Sonny? He uses it to point a gun at one of the bandits. And he says, nuh-uh, this oxygen belongs to us. How about you go elsewhere? And so they do. And they load up their oxygen into their Lexus, and they start driving towards the bunker. Unfortunately, because he didn't shoot these bandits like he should have, the bandits, they need that oxygen to survive, and they get in their own trucks, and they start chasing the Lexus on the way to the bunker. Oh no, and there's this big action scene where the moon's coming, and the gravity's flumpy, and everything's just getting smashed around them, and trucks are flying everywhere, but not their trucks, because they have to have a car chase.
Exactly,
so
their trucks are
fine. Their trucks are fine. There's like an 18-wheeler flipping through the air, and their little cars are still just
at
A-okay.
some point, I think, as well. It's like all this shit flying around. But they have their little chase. It's fine.
Yeah, they have a car chase, and we get the payoff of him being good at driving, because he was joyriding earlier.
Is this where they do the jump?
Yes, this is shortly after. This is where they do their jump, because...
looks like this, by the way.
The other people...
That was in the trailer as well.
Chase him. Yeah, the arrows are very helpful.
I know.
There's this massive chasm that happens.
Yeah.
And so they use their Lexus to make this insane jump with the low gravity, and they like bounce off of a rock, and then they drive up the rock, and then they fall down to the other side, and the bandits behind them, they get destroyed. Oh my goodness, that's over. And they land on the other side, safe-ish.
Absolute insanity.
It's absolutely nuts. It is nuts. It's absolute it's insanity. There's very very inconsistent rules on what is and is not affected by gravity.
Yeah.
Because remember that massive boulder there, lifted up by gravity. The Lexus, not affected by gravity. Right? It's still on the Earth. It's fine. They could still drive around and have a car chase.
Because it's heavier because of the people inside.
Yeah. It's because that solid, safe Lexus engineering clearly is what's holding it down to the ground, because it's safe. Because you bet your ass they're not going to show that Lexus getting destroyed by gravity.
Absolutely
not. No.
Oh wait, you're talking about a new Fast and Furious? Basically, yes.
This is the Fast and Furious section of the Moonfall movie.
It is. Yeah.
You might not have been expecting it, but here it is in all of its glory.
I definitely didn't expect the chasing scene in this one. Jesus Christ.
Well, I didn't even know about all the aliens and stuff. Like that was because I didn't see the trailer, I guess. I thought I did, but I suppose I didn't. And so I didn't know about all that. So everything that was happening was just one crazy piece of nonsense after the next. It was nuts.
Yeah, by this point, if you haven't seen any of the trailers, you still think it's just the moon falling down. Well, not really. We already had the established that there's stuff happening in the moon.
Yeah,
so never mind.
But it still gets crazier.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Point being, though, our Lexus clears the chasm. The bandits have been smooshed, and they have to walk the rest of the way to the bunker. So they put on their mask, they put on their oxygen mask, and they start walking to the bunker because the moon is overhead and there's no air in the atmosphere now. So they put on their oxygen masks, and at this point it's Tom, Sonny, General Kid, Chinese lady, and is the mom with them? The mom's with them, right?
Yeah.
The mom's with them now because they picked them up at Tom's house.
Yeah, exactly. They're all just having a big old adventure on their own.
Yep. So they're going to the bunker, and they get to this big tunnel that goes through the mountains. And darn it, right before they get to the tunnel in the mountains, the little girl or the little boy, the little boy, his oxygen mask starts to not work. And so Tom, being the hero that he is, He gives the kid the oxygen mask and he says, "Keep going. I'm right behind you. Keep going.
Yeah.
Don't stop." And then he collapses and Tom perishes.
Perishes.
How very sad.
Didn't even think about just swapping the mask back and
Yeah,
forth
every other
between them.
breath. Yeah,
Like
that
any
would have
normal
probably
person.
been the way to go. By the way, something they tell you, that's in scuba school, which I went to years ago.
Yeah.
That's one of the things they tell you that you know how to do. Every scuba suit has a second breather on it.
Yeah.
And just in case, they say, okay, you're going to do these exercises where you both go down and you're going to share the same one. So you take a breath and then someone else takes a breath. And so you take a breath and you swap out breath by breath. Because you can't hold your breath underwater. Don't hold your breath when you go down deep underwater. That will fucking kill you. So instead of just swapping face masks for the oxygen, Tom makes a heroic yet stupid sacrifice so
Pretty
the
much,
kid
yeah.
can breathe and live. And then minutes later, the oxygen's back. We made it, and they're at the entrance of this tunnel. But what's that?
Where's
the kid's
Tom?
here, but where's Tom? Oh no! So now
I don't
Sonny.
know. He was right behind me because I never bothered to check.
Yeah. Now Sonny has to go out and look for Tom.
Yeah, because he's a hero too.
Yeah, Sonny's being heroic. Everyone's a hero, and he can't find Tom. He gets pinned underneath a falling tree, and then Chinese lady has to go out and save him. And then when the moon's overhead, the tree weighs less, so they could lift it up. It's all very magical.
Yeah, very convenient as well. It's, just works. And also the bridge to the tunnel broke, but no problem.
That's right.
We got low gravity. We just jump over. Woo!
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a bridge, a big bridge.
Yeah, because I think it's a train tunnel. I think
something like that. It's
Yeah.
like a tunnel or a big highway thing, and they use the low gravity from the moon, and they jump across, and it's very amazing.
Yeah, it's epic with a Q.
Yep. And honestly, I'm gonna be real. I forget what happens next after they get into the. So they get into the bunker. Now, is that where they get into the tunnel? Is that where they hang out
I think so.
until the end of the movie? Because I
Where's my
legitimately
notes?
cannot remember what happens after they get into the tunnel, the
Let's
mountain
see.
tunnel.
Oxygen running out. Tom sacrifices himself. Military guy won. Oh yeah, I guess we get the thing with the military guy, and
That's right. Cut away.
He stops the other ones to launch the nukes because he's one of the guys who has the key to launch the nukes because their plan is to just fire all nukes at the moon while it's so close, which is very smart, obviously.
Yeah, basically the General Man, Halle Berry's husband, General Man is in the super secret safe bunker with the military, and they're going, you know what? It's getting too dangerous. We have to launch the nuke. We have to do it because I don't think Halle Berry and her gaggle fucks up in space are going to be able to stop the alien. And so everyone's like, oh yeah, we got to launch nukes. But General Man, he's like, no, I promised her that and she's up there in space and she's going to save us.
I just remember because he was like, my wife is up there, I can't do it. It's like, your wife for the whole world? Are you insane? Rightly so, by the way.
Yeah. It's one of those, it turns out that he makes the correct move, but it makes no sense that he does it.
Yeah.
It's this wager of, oh, my wife's in space.
Yeah.
But everyone else on the Earth is still on Earth.
It's like this whole, she never let me down. She definitely won't do it now, so I'm just going to take you all hostage.
Purely emotional decision. He pulls a gun on everybody, and he takes his key, and he's like, no, we're not launching these nukes.
Yeah.
And then the bunker collapses, and they die.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Everyone except the military husband. I'm pretty sure he's there at the end.
I think... Oh, does he survive?
I think so, yeah.
Well, there is a collapse that creates a mysterious and ambiguous amount of destruction.
A couple of people definitely died because you see debris falling onto them. So they get squished for sure.
Yeah, but it's like the military is bad because they want to do things that are not unreasonable given the circumstances.
Yeah.
And for purely emotional, interstellar-like reasons, he makes this ridiculous decision that turns out to be correct in the end.
What a good guy. What a
Yeah.
smart boy.
So
But
all
yeah,
of this is while all of this is happening, right? We
this
have our moon plot.
yeah the more interesting part of the movie.
We have our moon plot. It is wild. It is a
Yeah,
wild ride.
because I think
So our trio,
we left out trio
tre-
when they were refueling, and now they're
yeah, they
going
went up into space.
further
They
to the
refueled
moon.
for their journey. They're in their little space shuttle, and they have their little conversations, and they don't matter. And so they go to the moon now. They go to the moon, and they have inside of their shuttle a special probe
Hmm.
shuttle, a mini shuttle.
Which has
So
a
they,
moon rover attached to it as well. So it's like a triple thingy. You have shuttle, probe, moon rover thingy, space rover, whatever you want to call
yep.
it.
So they are flying towards the moon in their space shuttle, and they enter a debris field. There's rocks everywhere around the moon. They're floating around. They're zooming around, and miraculously, our heroes are not instantly killed.
Yeah, that
It is an incredible. It really bugged me watching this movie how they're just sort of floating through this
has a lot of
massive
debris.
asteroid field. Essentially,
So much debris. I
it
think
is
the only thing that happens to
bizarre.
the shuttle during that part is like one of those top wing thingies. I don't actually know how you
Yeah,
call them. Uh,
the the dorsal wing or so. I don't know what it's called.
yeah,
What's
you
the
know,
top?
but the thing on the back on top, that thing gets crushed
It
and
is a
separated.
vertical stabilizer. Yeah, okay, the
Oh,
vertical
okay, yeah,
stabilizer is what it's called.
that makes sense.
It gets knocked off by the it gets knocked off by a random chunk of rock, and other ones kind of jostle them around a little bit,
Hmm.
and miraculously they are not horrifically destroyed and smooshed in space.
Yeah,
It's very, very fortunate.
very fortunate indeed. Yes,
They get close enough to the moon, and then
get to the
they're going
hole.
to yeah, but this is the okay, yeah, they leave the shuttle and then they go to the moon, and that's when the moon monster comes out,
Right.
right?
Or yeah, they take
It
the
doesn't
probe.
matter.
They take the probe and put the wait. They do something. I think they just put the probe with the EMP on there, turn
Yeah,
off their
because they have
shuttle, and
yeah,
wait for
because
it to come
inside the
out.
shuttle, they're not going to be in the shuttle for long. It's just to get them to the moon. Once they're in the moon, they use the Chinese little probe.
Hmm.
That's the most advanced thing ever. That's what they're going to use to fly around the moon and fly into the moon. And it has the EMP with it. It's in like two sections. There's the front where they sit and fly, and then there's the
Hmm.
back that has the EMP in it.
Yeah, and I think they
So they hop.
detach it like over the hole or something, and then go back to the shuttle, wait for the worm to come out, and hopefully grab the probe, and then they do the EMP. Something
Yeah,
along
it's
those lines.
yeah. Well, they're moving towards the moon, and they're getting ready to arm the EMP, and they have their phones and they have their little gadgets because they're in space and they're in a spaceship. And this is where we learn that the moon monster machine alien thing, it is attracted to like energy signatures and specifically it is organic material using electronics
Yes.
inside of spaceships. It's a very specific thing that this alien is attracted
Yeah.
to
I'm not even sure
to
if
the
it's a
point where
spaceship, but I think it's just a combination of electronics plus organic matter or something.
yes, organic matter, organic people have to be
Yeah.
using technology inside of a spaceship essentially is what it is.
Also, let me point out how
And
silly it is how they figure it out. Because Casey, if you forgot, he went with them to the moon. And he
Casey's
just
here, that's right.
had his smartphone with him. I guess he just held it in his hand while they were flying to space. And he's taking like selfies and stuff. And it's like, you silly man. And he's
I
just
don't
like,
blame him for taking selfies.
oh, yeah, no, I just found it weird that he just had it in his hand this whole time. This probably gets wrecked or has the potential to wreck stuff. But yeah,
Hmm.
he has that one on, and they I think Brian destroys the screen of not the launch pad, the launch
Yeah,
remote.
they realize they have to turn everything off, or else the moon monster will eat them.
Yeah,
So he smashes a phone, he smashes the little EMP control device, they turn off the ship that they're in,
yeah,
and and this thing is like on them. It's like right in front of them, this monster.
yeah,
It's staring them down. It's right in front of the shuttle, but oh, the stuff turned off. I guess we're okay now.
yeah. Okay, I'm going, and he just goes back
It,
into the hole.
yeah, the alien goes back into the hole. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Um, so they have to do everything manually now. They have to fly in manually,
yeah.
and they
They get
can't
the
use
EMP
their
back, and they go back in. Uh,
yeah.
and they have like a pretty easy time just going into the hole, even though I'm pretty sure the probe runs on electronics as well. So I don't know why the monster is not coming out for that.
That was a confusing aspect to the movie for me. I never knew if what counts as, because clearly this is not an analog shuttle
Yeah,
like a freaking World War One biplane. There is
there's lights on it
like
and everything.
yeah, there's lights and everything, but I guess those don't count.
Yeah, for
So
some reason. Hmm.
if they keep their phones off, it's okay. Um, so they go down the big hole and they go inside of the moon. And oh my goodness,
It is actually a mega structure. Bum,
it is.
bum,
The moon is
bum.
hollow. The moon there's these massive hoops swinging around. The moon is powered by like a dwarf star.
Yeah, like a white dwarf specifically.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
And there's these big machines spinning around it to generate power and gravity and stuff. There are these huge mega complexes. It's like this bullshit from Halo. It's just insane alien space structure
Yeah, there's
technology.
like fields and shit. It's like, oh Jesus, there's like shit going down here.
So
And I think
they
that
go in.
they go
Yeah.
in, and you can't see the white dwarf immediately because you can only see it after the alien thing stops being on it because it's enveloping it all the way.
Yeah,
It's
the
like
moon monster is
completely
trying to like
covered up.
smother it, I think they say,
Yeah.
and destroy the power source of the moon. And they I would say they get in closer and they try to, I think they turn on the EMP or something like that, like they're getting ready to use it or
Mhm.
something like that. And the moon monster starts to chase them inside of the moon.
Yeah.
However, the the right before the moon monster gets them, they are saved. They get pulled into one of the structures inside of the
Yeah,
moon.
with like a tractor beam. I was like, oh
Yeah,
shit, what's going on down here?
yeah. This it pulls them inside of the structure of the moon, and the monster's trying to get in, but he just can't. And and it's beating on the doors outside, but they're protected. And this is where things get fucking weird. This is where things get weird.
Yeah. Uh,
Everyone, the spaceship is damaged, and they're losing oxygen, and
yeah.
everyone passes out. Oh no! Oh my goodness!
Everyone's knocked
Well,
out, and everyone who has like half a brain is like, there's oxygen in here. Like, there's clearly oxygen in here. So that's exactly what happened. The door opens up, and you're like, psh, and air is coming in, and they grab Brian, but not the other ones because the other ones don't
have I been
matter.
calling him Patrick this entire time?
Yeah, it's the same person. Doesn't matter.
Patrick Wilson plays Brian Harper. All right, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
That's the source
I
of my
thought people were
confusion.
following along, so I didn't clarify, to be honest.
Yeah,
So they grab him, and he's getting dragged into like a holographic room kind of dealio. He's like in a
yeah,
completely white room, and he sees Sunny as a child. And the construct itself is talking to him. It's like, oh,
yeah. This facility is sort of alive. It's like an
yeah,
AI. It is communicating to Brian through like his subconscious essentially.
yeah,
He's in like a trance in this little vision room,
mm-hmm,
And here we get a massive exposition dump.
Yeah, it's like, what is even happening?
So, like many people in the theater, you're wondering what the hell's going on. This is weird. Well, it turns out
Gets
that
weirder.
a long time ago, humans were spread all across the galaxy. They were a super hyper advanced civilization. No war, everything was
Nothing.
peaceful. It was great. It was amazing. We
Fantastic.
were spread across the galaxy and prospering.
Mm-hmm.
But we developed an AI,
Oh
and
no.
then one day it became self-aware, and for whatever reason, it just decided it was gonna fucking kill everybody.
Every single one.
Yeah, this AI just wanted to kill everybody because it didn't want to be a slave or something like that.
They
So it
took
goes
it too
around and
far. They took it too
yeah,
far.
one day it's like once you become self-aware, you just go mad, you kill everything. I mean, it
Yeah.
just makes sense, right? So this AI that they created is way more powerful than the entire civilization that made it. So it is able to single-handedly essentially kill the entire civilization. And what the civilization did to try and survive was they built all of these little moons
Mm-hmm.
to send them out into space.
But
But
only
they only
one.
finished one.
Only one
And
was
guess
finished.
which one that is?
Is
Oh,
it
it's
this
our
one?
moon.
Oh
It's
shit.
ours, everybody. Oh my goodness gracious. So our moon's like a safety pod that the civilization's using to survive, essentially.
Yeah.
So
And it's like,
this
so they
moon,
went to Earth and did the thing. It's like,
I think they like
no,
created
they
Earth.
created the Earth. They created the
Yeah,
planet itself and gave
this
it
is a
DNA so it
this
could
civilization
prosper.
has the ability to create planets that can
Insane.
sustain life.
Yeah.
And it seeds the planet with DNA and bacteria and all that stuff. And it guides human evolution because our DNA is the alien DNA because the aliens are us.
Mm-hmm.
And so that happens. And now the little space fluke, the space monster, it's looking down, it's looking for the moons everywhere. It's trying to find them all, and it finally found this one.
Yeah.
So it's been trying to smother the moon's power source to kill all organic life.
Because
It's
they
very
won't
evil.
stop until it's over. Because we don't like humans. We're bad AI.
Yeah, the AI is just bad.
Uh,
So
Also, no, there's no other human on this facility for some reason.
it's
As
just an
far as we
AI.
can tell, it's just a very empty moon with
It's
probably
it's full of
thousands of
ships.
spaceships everywhere.
It's full of thousands of spaceships, and there's like farms and stuff or something like
Yeah.
that. But there's no actual people here. It's just an AI construct that keeps it going.
Yep.
So it fixes up the probe that they came in on.
Yeah.
It tells them, it gives them like a soup. It upgrades their EMP
And it
to be
also
special now.
also upgrades Brian with super control over the facility. Apparently,
Yeah, he can wave his hand in front of doors and they
yeah,
open.
he can control all the guns on every spaceship if he
Yeah.
wants to. It's weird. I don't know. They just gave him that power, I guess. It just
Yeah,
happened.
he's got mega powers. So you might be wondering, what about the other two crew? What about Halle Berry and Casey? What have they been doing? Well, they've been wandering around in a hallway, and then they meet up, and that's
slowly
that.
making their way to Brian, and then they go back.
Yeah, and then they go back to the probe. So that takes care of that.
Yep.
And now that they have a souped up EMP, now that they have now Brian, he's going to sacrifice himself to launch the EMP because
That's the
the
plan.
construct
Yeah.
was like, "Are you willing to sacrifice yourself to save the world?" And he's like, "Yeah." And
Absolutely.
the construct's like, "Oh, that's good. Here you go.
The
And-
power.
Go do
You're
it.
captain now.
You can do it." So they get in their probe. The doors open up because they need to. I don't know why they don't just set it off here.
I think there's
Okay,
like
well,
a
the
throwaway line. If you would
EMP
do it
supposed to-
here, it's gonna destroy the facility, maybe.
Okay, so because they have to take it to like a deep dark part of the moon.
Yeah, because
Point.
what they do, this is actually what happens in the screenshot, which was also weird. They open the door, make it aware they're here. It comes crashing down on them, and then they just close the door and get it stuck somehow. Even though it's like a swarm thing, it just doesn't
Yeah,
reform to just get through because it's like a liquid. So I don't know what's going on there.
Brian has insane piloting powers,
Yeah, he just
and they
flies
go on
around the
this.
facility and through the
Yeah,
spaceships, and the spaceships start shooting the goopy monster, and it's like, yeah. So they fly around for like a couple of
hmm
minutes, get chased around by the thing until it's like incapacitated for like a couple of minutes, and they
and then
fly
they can.
fly back to
Yeah,
the
they get
hole.
away from it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they take it to like a deep dark hole of the moon to the hole how they got in
yeah,
the board cylinder, and they start turning things on to attract the moon monster, so it will now know that they are here. And Brian's like, "All right, everyone, you guys, fly this back. Keep watch. I'm going to go in the back, set up the EMP, and I'm going to sacrifice myself to save the world."
yeah. And
And
Halle Berry's like,
um,
no, you can't do that. That's
no, you
bullshit.
can't
And
do
they go
it.
back and
No,
forth, like blah 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 blah. Clearly not having time to do this right now. Uh, but in the meantime, Casey just goes back to the thing and closes himself and is like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself. The big
yeah.
chunky nerd is gonna sacrifice himself.
Mm-hmm. Which
It's-
I like. I
yeah,
like the fact that he,
yeah,
does that because we are being very flippant with a lot of this stuff, but
yeah.
and in that hour of useless shit, he talks about how he no one believes him. He wished him. People made fun of him his whole life. He's got his mom
Oh, we got roboting going on
and
with you right now.
oh no, that's not good.
I think it fixed itself. I think we're
All right,
good.
that's good.
Okay.
That's good. That's good. So he wants to be a hero and make a difference, and he wants everyone to know that he's great and not make fun of him.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets into the EMP pod in the back, and they launch him towards the monster as it's coming. And the monster comes and it like swallows up the EMP thing, and then he blows up the EMP and he destroys the alien, and it fixes the moon.
Yeah. The moon is about to properly crash into the thing, like it's scraping the earth already.
Yeah,
And as soon as it's destroyed, it just goes back up.
it just goes back.
I don't know why, but
Goes
that's
back up
just
and
how it
fixes
works.
Yeah, I don't know either. I guess because the monster isn't there to mess around with the power source, but it wasn't there anyway. It was by the
It was-
EMP, so
yeah,
don't
exactly.
think about it.
Exactly, don't think about it.
Don't think about it.
It's a close
The
call,
day is
and we
saved.
save the
Close
day.
call.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
exactly.
was very close, down to the wire. We saved the day. Hooray.
And
Um,
very handy, the hole they come out of is right above the earth right now, so you can just flop back to earth easily and land.
yeah, they're just right back on Earth because the moon's next to Earth at this point, and they just bloomp. They just land on Earth. They deploy their parachutes. They land in the snow, and they're right next to the Chrysler Building because it got thrown to Colorado or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's not where it's
It's
supposed to be.
typical Roland Emmerich kind of like disaster imagery. That's not supposed to be here. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's like,
so this
oh
is
man, I
essentially
hope there's a tracker on this thing, and then they get picked up basically immediately, I think.
Yep. Helicopters show up immediately after
Yeah.
to pick them up. The world is saved. Hooray.
Whoa.
The billions are dead, but at least we survived. That was really good that happened.
Yeah.
And you might think that, oh, the story's done, right?
Oh. Uh-oh.
You would be forgiven for thinking so, because we have one little thing left.
We do.
You see, it turns out that Casey is in some way alive
Yeah.
because they downloaded his consciousness into the construct that is the moon. Casey is now a part of the moon.
Yeah.
He's an AI in the moon.
And he's talking to his mum as a hologram.
Yeah.
And then the hologram
Which,
says, we should get started. Started with what? And then the credits roll.
It's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna make the Earth even better because we're the construct and we have all this stuff on the moon and we're gonna make the Earth amazing.
Or maybe fight back
everything.
through to the aliens, because there's gonna be
Yeah,
a lot
I
more
guess
of those
there's more,
aliens,
yeah.
right? That's not the
I
only
guess,
thing.
yeah. We're gonna need more EMPs.
Lots
Now-
more EMPs.
I'm thinking that Roland Emmerich thinks that KC talking to a construct that is using the imagery of his mother I think that Roland Emmerich thinks that that's closure between Casey and his mother,
Yeah.
even though it isn't. Is because we see his mother being evacuated like
Yeah,
halfway
she's
through
still
the
alive.
movie.
She's just hanging
Yeah,
out.
she's alive as far as we know. She might be fucking killed. We don't know.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah.
we only see halfway through the movie she's being taken away by the nursing home staff,
Yeah.
and that's it. We never see her again. They never talk again. You never have that one phone call before they go up into space, or that sort of that sort of thing that you might expect.
Oh, they do. They do.
No.
They have that one phone call right before he
Nope.
goes into the spaceship.
With the mom.
Yeah, but she doesn't recognize him because of the
Yeah, I think
dementia.
that's what I'm sort of referring to is
Oh, okay.
they can't even talk, and that's when they're evacuating and he gives the phone to the caretaker.
Oh,
He's like,
gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
take good care of her. Yeah, they set it up, but there's no closure there, which I guess I expected. I guess that was a surprise. Like she's like, oh, I remember everything now, and it's a big happy ending, is such and such. Or he has that one final call with her where she does remember who he is, but
Yeah.
that's Moonfall, and it was awful. It was entertaining,
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
but it's one of those issues where you have the A plot, which is what you're really here for, the disaster stuff, and you have all of this family drama and all of these characters doing their own thing,
hmm
and it's you just want to skip it.
And the way they cut it is like so unsatisfying because
Yeah,
they're just about to go into the moon, and then we go back to the humans, to the human plot, and it's like, oh, please stop it. It's just, I don't care about their little adventure with the bandits. It's just so boring.
so yeah, Earth is part of is the last remnants of an intergalactic civilization.
Yeah.
Space alien AI are coming to destroy the moons. I don't even going to get into the fact that someone pointed out in chat the moon AI never bothered to contact the humans on Earth, which is kind of
Yeah.
weird. You think that after learning everything about the AI stuff and the civilization in space that they would want to do that so that Earth could flourish,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't know. It's all very confusing. It's all very
Also,
confusing.
there's apparently no other humans on this massive structure, which apparently can easily have a lot of people on there.
Oh
Especially,
yeah,
especially with all the
you'd think
fields
that.
and everything. So there's shit going on in there.
Yeah,
But
you would expect for there to be a civilization of I guess the true species,
yeah,
and then you have the ones that were put on the Earth to develop on their own or something. Um,
but
it's
no, for
it's
some
it's a
reason
movie that is.
they create a whole new Earth and wait billions of years for humans to thrive and well even exist really.
Because the Earth is like what 4.5 billion years
It's
old,
pretty old.
something like that. It's really old.
I mean,
So
in
I
our
guess
standards, on
I
a
don't know,
cosmic scale, it's not that old. But
but I
considering
guess
considering what they want to do, they took a long time. They should have hurried up there a little
very
bit.
confusing. And
Yeah,
the editing of the movie you're always cutting to different things. You're
yeah,
always jumping from this place to this person who's here to this person who's here, to this person to here, and these people are talking over here. And it's just all it's setting up all of these little things, some of which go nowhere. A lot of these payoffs are really obvious and you see them coming. Roland Emmerich loves his father offspring relationships.
yeah.
He's big into that sort of thing, which is fine. But you get all the beats of the stuff that's in his movies. I definitely don't regret seeing it. It was a good popcorn cruncher movie.
Absolutely. It's just fun thing to put on the side, maybe even when you have people over
Yeah,
or whatever. Just have
yeah,
some
but
drinks.
boy, is it dumb.
It's really dumb. It
Oh,
really
boy,
is.
is it stupid. Convenience after convenience after contrivance after contrivance after
Yeah.
just nonsense.
think
Don't
I've
think about it.
I think I've seen some continuity errors as well, where some people suddenly teleport into a car while they were both standing on one side of the car and then just drive
Oh,
off.
I totally believe it.
Uh,
Absolutely, I believe it. This does not seem like the kind of film to get details correct.
yeah, but this movie wasn't very easy for me to say, well received. Let's see,
Yeah, critics
Moonfall.
probably hated. It was probably okay by audiences. I'm gonna
Let's
guess.
see.
I'm gonna guess 65
Let's see,
from audiences.
Metacritic. Metacritic says 41 Metascore
from
and 4.7 user score.
okay.
Let's see. Rotten Tomatoes, I guess. Even though that site is worthless, but it's always interesting to see.
I would be curious. How about the critics hated it?
You're right. Critics 38%
That's
and
pretty low.
audience score 69%. Nice.
Oh, that's close. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
This is the most normie disaster movie ever.
This brought me back to like the old days when you just wanted to
Yeah,
watch a
the day
silly
after
movie.
tomorrow,
It's like,
2012.
oh, this is just
Yeah.
this is a disaster movie. This is fun. I'm gonna
Yeah,
see
it's
the
very
Earth explode.
inoffensive. I will say this. This movie, you know how you saw Black Widow, right?
I'm afraid so. Yes.
Okay. You know how Black Widow, it feels fake. Everything about it is fake.
Mm.
That's how this movie feels. I don't it doesn't feel like they were ever in a set
Yeah.
or they were
Yeah.
ever in a real place. It like maybe they were in a set, but you knew that the doors were just the studio doors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when he's going into the observatory, that felt like a set. The way that it was shot, the way that
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
see the outside through the windows or anything. When they're walking around and doing stuff, everywhere feels fake. Like they're never actually in any sets. Um, Everything is. I'm not poo pooing on CGI, but here I will. A lot of places that just don't feel like they need to be fake, they feel fake. A lot of the places that they go, the city streets and
Mm.
museums and interiors, they just all feel fake.
I mean,
And the backgrounds are always CGI, like they're not really where they are.
I mean, if you also
Even
just look at the still from the destruction of the city, like if you just look at it just by itself, almost looks like PS2 kind of graphics with the houses, like no details.
yeah, there's not a lot of
Like you don't
the
really
dis-
notice it when it's moving, but now that I just look at it, it just kind of looks kind of bleh.
yeah, the destruction is really it benefits from its scale,
Yeah,
I guess. The initial flood at the beginning didn't look that good. Um
yeah, and there was
the
also
the,
like
the
no
water
people there. There was like no one there except those people we have
yeah,
in the hotel.
you don't see people getting swallowed up by the flood. You don't see people, clinging to buildings.
Hmm.
You don't see there's like I said, it's a PG-13 movie, but it's very safe with its destruction.
Yeah,
You
very.
might look at this at New York being destroyed by meteors essentially in the moon and go, "Oh my gosh, this is terrifying." But like, no, it's kind of a short little sequence just to remind you that disaster is happening.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas 2012 was essentially about the disaster, and Day After Tomorrow was about the disaster. The
yeah.
people were dealing actively with all of this stuff all the time, and this lacked a huge like you could forget that the Earth was full of 7 billion people.
Really could.
Be,
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like an afterthought to show that the world is being destroyed.
It's weird because
Um,
even though you see the moon like scraping the Earth's crust already, this was never really super tense. I feel like
yeah, it never felt tense.
because it's always like empty stuff that's being destroyed or seemingly empty stuff, I should say. It's like
They never showed that there was never the human connection. You never got interspliced with the destruction of New York, people running for their lives, taking cover, buildings being destroyed and toppling down as people fall out of buildings.
yeah,
It's things like that. Stuff that you could get away with in a PG-13
yeah.
movie,
I mean,
depending on how you actually do it.
look at the first Independence Day when they're all on the high build on one of the skyscrapers and just hey, welcome to Earth, aliens, and they just get all shot to oblivion with the big laser. It just
Yeah,
goes through the city, and it's like, oh shit, a lot of people
no
just
one
died.
gets wounded in this. It's weird because you have the scene where the alien like spikes through the heads of the astronauts. There's no blood. You
Nothing.
don't see anything. It and there's no wounds in this. There's not really any like blood or scars. There's the weird F bomb at the beginning that just
Mm,
is totally odd. It this movie could have been yeah, it just feels there's no tension. But you could tell they're trying to create tension. You don't
yeah.
care for any character, really.
No.
I sort of cared for Casey a bit,
Yeah,
but I
Casey was
think he
alright.
was the only one. I think he was the only actor that I kind of liked because the acting was fine.
Yeah, it was
It was
fine.
just, it was all written by a 14-year-old, and they were all just doing what they were directed to do, I suppose. But yeah, Casey was really the only actor who I kind of felt was actually really acting. And he was the only person I was kind of sympathetic towards because they do show him as he's this weird conspiracy theorist guy. I guess he's right all along. And
Yeah.
he does they set up that family thing with his mom, and it just doesn't really go anywhere. But there's nothing to really care about. It's a movie where the Earth almost gets destroyed and you just don't really care, which ultimately is kind of an issue.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of damage, but it's just like, yay, we saved the day. But if you think about it, oh man, there's a lot of death happening and a lot of issues because these cities are getting crunched. They're getting fucked up.
Yeah, because like the day after tomorrow, people would get like frozen solid in mass. And in 2012, you just have this massive destruction and people falling into chasms and stuff like that. And you're like, oh man, that's bad. We don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But in this, you're just so far, you seem so far removed from the destruction and peril that you just don't really care about it.
Yeah. I mean, I just remember Day After Tomorrow where they just all fall out of the sky and you just see them just splash onto the fucking floors and everything.
Yeah, those movies had there was like a real peril to it. People fucking got killed. And in this, it's just implied that people die.
Yeah.
Which is it's not enough in this movie.
It's the only people we see dying. Is it only Marcus in the beginning and then the
He
three
just floats
space
away,
guys?
right?
Right, we don't even really see him
Marcus
die. He just gets flinged off and they can't get him back.
Yeah.
So I guess the only people we see die is the three astronauts,
three in
right?
the shuttle. Yeah, the three in the first shuttle they send to the moon. Yeah.
That's weird.
It is
really
weird. Because it's a very you watch individually, each one gets stabbed, and they're and the helmets go black, and you're just like, okay, where'd this come from? This seems out of place in this movie.
Yeah, this is weirdly violent, even though there was no blood, but it's just like they get spiked into the face immediately. This is really violent.
Yeah, the AI is incredibly stupid. It's really weird. I don't know. You think it could just? They have some throwaway line about how it could just. Why doesn't it just come to Earth and kill everyone?
Yeah.
And they say like, oh well, it's trying to do two things at once. It's trying to destroy the moon and the Earth at once, or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if the machine just kept to smothering the star, it would have done it instead of chasing after little signals, because it just really wants to kill organic matter using electronics and spaceships.
Yeah,
which is what it's attracted to.
Kind of dumb.
What a film.
And I guess humans just stopping the funding for that EMP thingy. It's like, no, we don't really need it, I guess.
No, we don't need it. I mean, we know that there's fucking aliens out there and they could get here and they might be on the moon, but we don't need it. It's fine.
Yeah.
We want to spend more money on something else.
Pretty much.
What a film.
What a film.
What a flim.
Schlock is, I think, what they call it these days.
Very schlocky.
Very schlocky.
It's...
Yeah, put it on if you have homies over and get drunk or whatever, and have it on the side and laugh at it or something. That's probably good for.
It's worth watching to just munch popcorn to as a stupid movie, because there's so many different things to point out.
Yeah.
The lines characters say, the fact that every character just says exactly what they feel, continuity issues, the inconsistency of gravity and how it behaves. I really did enjoy watching this in the theater, and my dad did a great deal as well. We're very happy we saw it.
Yeah, it's
but
pretty fun.
It is not what we would call a quality film. This is not.
No.
There is not a lot of art in this movie, I guess you could say.
Just going by memory, and haven't seen these other Roland Emerich movies in a while. I think the other ones are way better, I think. Maybe from memory, but it's been years since I've seen it, so maybe they're the same, but I feel they had at least more impact because we actually see some people die and getting hurt. Yeah.
Moonfall. by
Moon,
Roland Emmerich.
Moonfall.
I can't wait to see what he comes up with next.
Yeah, I think this
I wonder
one.
if it made money.
Uh, I think from first things I've checked, because I think it's still in cinemas right now.
It says here is that Moonfall is the biggest box office flop of the year so far.
Oh, that's
It
not
earned
good.
$10 million domestically in its debut weekend, and it cost $150 million to produce.
Oh boy.
So I hope they made a lot of their foreign money, because this definitely you could feel that this is a film that could be. I think that might be why. That maybe this is a theory I just came up with a moment ago. Maybe that's why the dialogue is so simple and there's no subtext and it's all so on its face and obvious with everything the characters say, so that you could dub it in different languages and it'll still work just the same.
Yeah.
You know? That might be why. It might not be because I can't really remember the writing quality of his older movies. But I know this one is just so in your face. I feel this way, and I am going to do this thing.
Yeah.
That maybe it owes itself well to being translated and to put out to China or Australia or wherever. Maybe that's the case, but
Yeah, maybe.
yeah.
You guys see what Roland Emmerich said about MCU movies half a month ago? Oh, was he the one who said the thing? I forgot what it was, but it was something like Marvel bad or something. Roland Emmerich.
Oh, he says, yeah, I remember this. He said Roland Emmerich says Star Wars and Marvel are ruining our industry.
Oh. And then they put out something like this. Why do they always do this? They make like really bad movies and then they say how bad Marvel is. It's just funny. I mean, Marvel right now is pretty fucking awful. Don't get me wrong.
He talked to Den of Geek in an interview, and he said, "Oh yes," Emmerich tells Den of Geek when asked if the disaster genre has changed in recent years, because naturally, Marvel and DC Comics and Star Wars have pretty much taken over. It's ruining our industry a little bit because nobody does anything original anymore. To his credit, Moonfall is original.
True. That is true. Still bad though, so that's sad for him. Emmerich, you should make bold new movies, and I think actually Christopher Nolan is the master of that. He's someone who can make movies about whatever he wants. I have it a little bit harder, but I still have a big enough name, especially when it's a disaster movie or has some sort of disaster theme. Yeah, well, I guess that didn't work out too well right now. So we'll see how this one does internationally in a couple of weeks.
This movie could have been really neat if it was. Let's get rid of half the characters.
36 million just worldwide. Ooh.
Oh, that is a big oof, jeez. But yeah, they need to get rid of about half the characters. Get a good writer to write the drama between maybe 4 characters, maybe 5. They just need to cut the list of characters drastically. It needs to be rougher and grittier, and they need to put a bigger focus on how do normal people, just normal people being affected by these catastrophes. But yeah, oof. That is like 36 million worldwide, and it cost 150 million to make, and that's not like advertising and marketing. So, geez.
Damn. Boy, oh boy.
That is gonna oof. Kind of a shame because as stupid as it is, it's very fun to watch.
Yeah, it's one of those and just entertaining movie. So
not shocked at all it's not making any money.
Yeah. There's so much content to watch these days as well on streaming and stuff. So
yeah, there is.
It's kind of rough these days to get a cinema thing out. And yeah, but I'm pretty sure the Boardman is gonna make bank. I'm pretty sure because I already got my ticket for the Buttman.
I am interested in seeing it. Yeah, I'm gonna go see it the day it comes out, and I don't know if we're gonna do an EFAP on it soon after, but I hope it's good. I'm interested in it.
Well, I can tell you, there's already a group open for that.
Okay, is there?
Yeah.
That was this morning while I was away.
Yeah. It's been open for a while.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think
Yeah, it
that's
was 7
gonna
this morning. Yeah, I
happen because I'm gonna go watch it on Friday next week. So
think it comes out the 4th for me, so I still have
Hmm.
about a week and a half till I see it.
Yeah, 4th is when I go watch it as well. So yeah, makes sense. At least there's product placement. Horizon Zero Dawn had a better AI destroyed the Earth story. I don't know, I haven't played it. What did you say, Rex? Horizon Zero Yawn? Huh?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
I think you said that yesterday.
Well,
but yeah,
that was fun.
That's Moonfall. There you go. We did it.
Yeah, thanks for showing up, everyone, and listen to us talk about Moonfall.
Yeah, hope get some
Amazing
entertainment during the shitty things that are happening right now. Because I'm a little bit concerned because I'm not that far away from that shit. It's only one country in between, so hope they stay over there. I'm good. I just want to talk about movies.
Yeah, I think that I just saw this tweet. German economy minister Habeck.
Mm-hmm.
He says 50% of Germany's coal comes from Russia.
Yeah.
55% of your gas comes from Russia, and 35% of your oil comes from Russia. So
yeah, there's
so
a
much
lot
for
of resources. I think we're good for now. So they just need to make contracts with other people, I guess. I don't know anything about that shit. I'm just parroting
Nuclear
what I've
power,
been reading on
people.
the news, very much.
Get on it.
But yeah, that's that. But yeah, I think we got it. Good job. Good job, us. We did it. You've got anything coming up, Brooks? You want to tell people about?
Oh, I don't want to overpromise. Hopefully, I'll have something out fairly soonish. Maybe
Nice.
around the time that maybe around the time that Mahler's done with his. But we shall see. I think I'm finally wrapping up with it soon.
Nice. And yeah, obviously Elden Ring coming out in just over an hour. So yeah, I'm gonna be playing that all weekend. So you won't see me on EFAB, you will see me on my Twitch playing Elden Ring all weekend because I'm very excited for that. And I can't play it on release because I have to work.
All right. Well, I guess we've got things lined up for everybody. How exciting!
Absolutely.
I guess I'll see you soonish.
Yeah, I think you guys doing another Arcane EFAB thingy on Saturday.
I think we're doing
covering a video. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That'll be fun.
Go watch that as well. It's gonna be good fun, I'm sure. But I won't be there, so I don't know if it's even worth it. I'm just kidding. But yeah. Thanks for joining me, Rooks. That was spontaneous. So that was cool.
And you just sort of mentioned it. It's like, oh, I saw it.
Yeah, and then Mo was like, "Oh, is Rex coming too?" And it's like, you know what? Why not?
The way that this film is sort of set up, it's very odd to go through because it's constantly hopping back and forth between different things. So it's good that there was someone else to help me go through it, talk about it.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. I'll catch you all on the next one.
See y'all later.
Bye.